Hey everyone, Tim Picciott with the Liberty Advisor. Just coming off a story where we just reported on the world having $11.7 trillion of negative interest rate bonds floating around the world. And that's basically as a result of the central banks greatly distorting all of the market. And one of the crazy things is that number has gone up 100% just basically since last September, which is absolutely mind-boggling. So what I want to tie this into is the cryptocurrency markets, because ultimately I think that when there is a financial crisis, I think you're going to see risk assets such as Bitcoin go down. However, what level will they be going down from? Maybe Bitcoin might be going down from 25,000 down to 10, and then we'll wait for some sort of massive amount of money printing, and then all of a sudden then that could be the catalyst. And this is not financial advice right now. Obviously no one has a crystal ball of how this thing is going to go play out. Don't be stupid and put all of your money into cryptocurrencies, especially if you just are hearing about this for the first time. And matter of fact, don't put all of your money into anything, and you should have some sort of plan. I am a financial advisor. I've been one for actually since the day the market crashed, since Lehman Brothers went down. Prior to that, I was a part of my school's student managed investment fund, particularly picking out financial stocks, and famously made the call not to buy any financial stocks in late 2007, where I got absolutely lambasted for making that move. And then basically the guys who ended up inheriting that fund ended up having the best endowment track record of the year. And I didn't get any real credit for that, but a large part of that was we did have a big amount of that fund was in cash and in short-term bonds. And so essentially we lost a lot less money than everybody else. Then went on to work for Waddell & Reed, who every year when I was there, we had the top 5-year track record in, according to the Barron's report. And then that wasn't because of me, but it's just I had good foresight that they were doing some good things at the time. And then when I thought they weren't doing good things at the time, I happened to leave that ship before that ship ended up sailing. But as getting back to cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin just, I believe, broke about $9,200 not too long ago. Today is the 17th of June. I am coming to you guys from Phoenix, Arizona, where it's already 90 degrees outside. And with Bitcoin going up, so dramatically, I think it's like 20% over the past week. Actually, let's see, we got a really cool looking, it's like a white lizard that's running completely white. I usually don't see that. Like an albino lizard. Let's see. Yeah, just some of the cool things you get walking out here in the desert. But with Bitcoin going up over $9,200, I'm not really sure. It seems like the catalyst this time might be more institutionally driven. You've got a lot of big events coming up. Most notably, you've got the, well, I guess it's hard to even tell what's most notable. You've got even people like JP Morgan now saying institutional demand is now driving cryptocurrency markets. You've got Bakkt, B-A-K-K-T, which is going to have a futures contract that is deliverable in actual Bitcoin, which the CME groups was a fiat-derived product. So for a lot of the hardcore people into the space, that basically means nothing to us. And so we did not care at all about that, and it seems like the interest in that has gone down quite a bit. But this Bakkt product will make it easier for other retailers and big institutions to be able to get into the space, maybe easier than they would be able to do now, and just will facilitate things getting easier. And speaking about facilitating things getting easier, we do have Libra, which is, again, really sort of a double speak type name, because Libra, you're thinking free and open. I know that there's a phone coming out soon that's supposed to be more of like a decentralized operating system, where instead of screwing you like Apple, where every time they do an update it ends up making all of your stuff get worse, it's supposed to end up making things get better. And I believe that phone is called the Libra 5. And so it's just crazy how their globalist coin, that name would have been too much throwing it in our faces, I guess. But with Libra, when it's talking about free and open, and their platform could not be anything but free and open. And it is interesting, how they are, coming about with this coin. What it looks like is it's almost looking like they're going to be like an SDR. That's a special drawing right type setup where what people right now, let me back things up. So the IMF, International Monetary Fund, which the IMF is acts actually like a bank, and the World Bank actually acts like a fund, and the Federal Reserve isn't federal and doesn't reserve anything. So in this whole, you know, doublespeak 1984 world that we're in right now, with the special drawing right, that is a basically a unit of account that central banks use basically to shuffle money back and forth at the Bank of International Settlement type level. And this is, I have no notes, I didn't look this up before I came here, I haven't researched this in quite some time, so this would probably be a pretty good video to do with John Sneisen at some point, to have a more of the formalized video. But the special drawing right is made up of, I want to say it's like 50, 60, 70% US dollars. Then it has, you know, obviously, you know, has some euros, some yen, the Chinese yuan, and I think maybe one or two other smaller currencies like Swiss franc and maybe a few other smaller ones scattered in there. And so I'm wondering if that is how the Facebook Libra coin is going to be devised as well, where you see maybe you give one coin, but that one coin is made up of a certain percentage of other fiat currencies, which will then make it, you know, a somewhat attractive proposition if you are living in one of these third world countries, and now all of a sudden you can put your money into some, you know, dog shit currency that that your own government runs, or you can put it into, I guess, one of the more accepted, formalized fiat dog shit currencies, like something like the dollar. And so it will be interesting to see how this plays out, if it's going to be convertible to US dollar or to Bitcoin or not, because this could be a game changer for the crypto markets. If you can have your Libra coin and then exchange it for Bitcoin, then now what you're doing is you're exposing, you know, maybe another billion people to cryptocurrencies in general, even though this is not a true cryptocurrency in the sense of it's not decentralized, it's not permissionless, it's basically the exact opposite of all those things. You've got, you know, a major corporation like Facebook teaming up with people like Visa and Uber, and so you've got, you know, Uber that treats their employees like crap, you know, Visa and PayPal that have shut people down before for political speech, and you got Facebook, who has a terrible track record with privacy, all banding together at one. So I mean, it's, you know, haven't seen this perfect of a merger since, you know, Bayer buying Monsanto, in terms of, you know, all the evilness getting together. But getting back on track, what this could mean is if you have, let's say, 1 billion people who are now going to maybe be getting, you know, a little bit of crypto for the first time ever, and then maybe seeing how easily it's able to be used on the bad side of things, you know, it could, you know, put people more into this mark of the beast type system, where they know exactly where your money is, how to track it, trace it, surveil it, you know, merge it together with a Chinese social credit type system to then be able to completely cut you off. Or it could have the... Now, the other thing that's going to be a major player in the cryptocurrency market is when we start getting to the point where we go from $12 trillion in negative bonds to 20 trillion, to 40 trillion, to 80 trillion, to 100 trillion, to, you know, the Fed's balance sheet, you know, eventually getting up to, you know, $100 trillion eventually. I mean, I'm a pretty young guy, only 33, so on a long enough time horizon, that's pretty much going to be an eventuality, unless the system implodes before then. And so when it comes to the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies going up, and I'm sort of using Bitcoin and crypto interchangeably right now, and so I would recommend people go check out my Bitcoin versus Bitcoin Cash video that I did a while back, right around the time of the fork, in order to, you know, get a better understanding of where I come from a philosophical angle. But eventually these central banks are going to be printing, you know, trillions of more dollars than they've already printed currently. They're eventually going to be completely losing control of bond rates, because right now when the Fed sets the Fed funds rate, that is only setting the interbank overnight lending rate. It's not setting, the market is supposedly setting the other rates, but when you have other central banks buying up their own assets, and for a while the Fed was doing that, then you're greatly then distorting what the market is, because you don't have a true free market. We have a gamed system that is really, you know, straight out of basically like a communist type playbook. And so eventually, in a long enough time horizon, you know, I think having a little bit of your wealth into Bitcoin or crypto, or having a little bit of your retirement into this could be a good thing. Especially, you want to make sure you hold on to the private keys. And some of you might be saying, oh, hey, well, you've got a company where people can put some of their IRAs into crypto and where they hold the private keys, and you're just going to be, you know, talking this up to make more money. Well, as a fee-based advisor, I'm not making, you know, stuff on the upfront for you people doing this. I'm making, you know, everything on really on the back end, and I'm making the same percentage whether you have stocks with me, whether you have bonds with me, which, you know, almost nobody does, or whether you have options, or whether you have cryptocurrency. So for me, I am incentivized to, as your accounts grow, that my income grows. And so I am incentivized to do a good job for people, to treat people fairly, and to have their accounts grow, because believe it or not, I like making more money. So, you know, so if you are watching this and you're 55, 60, 65, highly recommend you check out my crisis retiring presentation that I think is only on my BitChute channel right now. And also want to text Liberty Advisor, one word, to 71441, be entered to win a raffle. And also, more importantly, it's a way for us to keep in touch when eventually we're not on YouTube, eventually when we're not on Facebook, because maybe we're pointing out how this whole Project Libra is a big, you know, globalist, you know what coin, and they're not going to like, you know, people who have, you know, credibility and people who have dissenting opinions, basically pointing out basically all the problems with their project. And so that's, you know, the main reason we want to keep in touch. You know, someone's saying, hey, you know, I'm never giving anyone my information, and meanwhile they're signed in on a Google account where Google knows all your information already. And so, you know, all the bad guys already know your stuff. So if you want to, you know, share it with myself and Josh, and that is where it's going, you know, to myself and Josh. It's not being sold to anybody else. And frankly, you know, I've been too busy to put out emails because, you know, we need things like having extra video editors, where it'd be nice where I can just shoot this video off to somebody and we have a whole team of people who can then help edit it. And people are wondering, hey, how come there's, you know, we don't have the Mauritania video back yet? Well, Josh has like 30 hours of stuff to videos to. We got some rabbits that my dogs are going crazy over right now. But he's got about 30 hours worth of videos to edit. I mean, has anyone here ever tried to edit 30 hours worth of video? I mean, the amount of time that takes is insane. I mean, a lot of these movies get shot, you know, in the span of, you know, weeks or maybe a month or two, and then it might take them 2 years to edit the video, and that's with huge, you know, bajillion-dollar productions and teams and budgets and all sorts of things. And so, you know, the goal is not, hey, give us a bunch of money so we can go gallivant all around the world and go blow it all. I mean, the whole point of this right now, sorry if there's an echo, I'm in a tunnel right now, is you know, to be able to have more of a reach, more of an impact. You know, you can't, you know, look at people like, you know, Anderson Cooper. You know, he's coming from one of the richest families there is, being the Vanderbilt family and the Astor family, and he's getting paid $12 million a year, and we're all subsidizing him through our cable subscriptions, but nobody has a problem with that. But, you know, you want to ask for, you know, a few bucks here or there. And so one of the ways to support us is becoming a client of myself, where I'm kicking back money, and I'm not using the word kickback, but I'm investing money back into alternative media in order to help get out this information. And so that's one of the reasons why, you know, you can help support us in any way you can. And so really appreciate, you know, everyone who, you know, has had positive comments, and we will be getting all of my videos up on BitChute and YouTube. And so there are old videos, and so some people are commenting, hey, you know, the audio doesn't sound great. And actually, the audio is pretty good on most of the old videos. There was a video I did on Macron, exposing him as a Rothschild globalist banker, you know, when he was being, I'm not sure what they call it, like sworn in from a few years ago, where I messed up the audio. There was a Bill Clinton video that I did that was awesome, probably one of the best informational videos I ever did. Messed up the audio on that one, and a few other ones, you know, from live presentations where the audio was messed up. But if you're wondering why the production quality and some of the videos that are just coming out now, it's because some of those videos are like 3 years old. But anyways, appreciate the watch. Running out of breath right now, as it's like 90 something degrees. But anyways, hope you guys found this useful. Talk to you.